If you're wondering if TradeZella is worth the price or how to actually use TradeZella and potentially benefit from it, this is the video for you. My name is Thomas, and now I've been using TradeZella for over 2 years, dating back to the fall of 2022. I've tracked hundreds, if not well over 1,000 trades on TradeZella through those past 2.5 years. And so I have a pretty good feel for how to use TradeZella and who could see value in a platform like this. So really quick, what is TradeZella all about? Well, TradeZella is more than just a standard trade journaling software. They have, over the years, been building this out to the point where they offer a lot of additional pieces that people might not be familiar with or might not realize offer value to them. And that's what I want to explain at least a little bit in this video, while showing you the core and what TradeZella originally started out as back when I first heard of them. Today, it's a blend of journaling, it's a blend of tracking, it's a blend of backtesting, and it's even integrated a seamless mentorship component, which allows mentors, one-on-one coaching, and allows people to oversee your trades or you to oversee other people's trades like that. Whether you are a day trader, whether you are a swing trader, TradeZella is really for someone who is serious about tracking their trading data. If you like data like me, this is awesome. But if you don't like data, TradeZella does all of the hard work for you. So you don't have to actually do the calculations. You don't have to create the Excel spreadsheet. You don't have to do any of that stuff. All you really have to do is place your trades, connect your trades to TradeZella, and you're going to be good to go without having to do all the number crunching. All right, so let's walk through how this all works. What you're going to do is you'll get to a page that looks like this, and then you'll click on the Get Started option. Now, in terms of TradeZella pricing, here is what they currently offer. If you were to pay monthly, they offer a basic plan. This is $29 per month. If you pay yearly, it comes out to $24 per month, and it's billed once a year at $288 per year. If you were to go the premium plan, that will be $49 per month, and that bills out yearly if you were to go that route to only $33 per month at $399 per year. That is the plan that I personally use, and I have been using for now over 2 years. I pay for it in full every single year. I kind of forget about it, and then all of a sudden it hits me in like August, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about TradeZella. But yes, that does hit me $399 every single year. The reason why I use that one, and I'm not selling this one for you by any means at all, I really don't care which plan you choose. If you choose TradeZella or if you don't use it at all, the whole point of this video is to kind of give you what you need to know ahead of time before you make that decision. Or if you already have and you're like not sure, this could give you some more information on what TradeZella has to offer you. But a big reason why I went premium is because it allows you to connect up to 20 accounts. So I have been using and dabbling with a bunch of prop firms lately. And what ends up happening with these prop firms is they will all of a sudden have an issue or a glitch, and then they'll issue you a new account, and then you'll have a new account here, or maybe you have a couple different accounts. And what I did was I went with some of the cheaper or smaller level accounts to test out some prop firms, see how their process works, get a payout or two, confirm that like they actually pay out, and then I went ahead and bought larger accounts. And so now I'm essentially trading multiple accounts with the same prop firm, just on different sizes. Let's say you have a $25,000 account, then you have a $200,000 account. And so I need more than just one account that I'm actively trading or that I can actively track. And so that's why I personally use the premium version of TradeZella, plus a couple other things. The sessions replay, which I'll get to more in a minute, is pretty cool as well. Because I have been with TradeZella for some time and I also run this channel, they gave me a discount code TC10. That code, I'll link it below this video, or the link will be below. And then if you enter that code in, if it's not already automatically filled in when you check out, we'll save you 10%, which could be kind of nice. Again, not trying to sell it to you. If you find value in it or you want to use it, just know that there are people like myself out there who do have discount codes. And so you can get an additional discount on top of these numbers if you were to use somebody's code. So if you can avoid paying full price, then do that. Okay, so once you log in and create an account with TradeZella, you'll get to a dashboard or a place that looks like this. I am looking at the month of February because I have a bunch of wins, a bunch of losses, and you can kind of see this a lot cleaner. In the month of March, I had a lot less trades. The month of April, I had a lot less trades. So I thought that February would be a good month to show you because I had more trades. I had about 15 trades, and I have a lot of numbers for all these different categories. So on the left-hand side, there's a tracking section, which we are under. That's a little pencil tool. Backtesting section, mentor mode and a university mode. If you were to go to backtesting, which we'll talk about in a second, you can actually get to a very similar page that looks like this with pretty much backtested or paper traded results. This is technically live results, my results from my trading accounts over the course of this month. Now, this is what you're going to see. You'll see your P&L, you'll see your expectancy, you'll see your profit factor, your win percentage, average win-loss, all that great stuff. And then your recent trades over here on the left-hand side. You've got this little calendar over here, and then a couple other things that you can look at, chart-wise to make things a little bit nicer on the eyes, which I think is pretty cool. They've got this thing called the Zella score, which is kind of showing you, maybe where you're lacking or where you're doing well or excelling at in your trading based off what's doing really well or what's driving the numbers for that given month. And this will adjust over time. But in a nutshell, this is what you see. You can go up to the right-hand side. You can change this from dollar to percentage to privacy mode to R multiple, ticks, pips, or points, which is kind of cool. Depends upon what you trade and if it makes sense for you. You can change the filters so you can only see certain things, certain symbols, certain tags that we'll talk about more, certain playbooks, so you can really get into the nitty-gritty of just diving into specifically and pinpointing when I'm doing this or this specific way or this specific ticker or whatever, and see the results from that. If you're a high-frequency trader, that you're going to have a lot more data a lot faster. For me, I'm a much lower frequency trader. I do not trade every day. There says that there's 15 trades on here in the month of February, but I'll tell you that a lot of those trades were copied, meaning I took the same trade on different size accounts. So I've used a prop firm, and I have maybe a $25,000 account and a $200,000 account, or a $10,000 and $25,000. And so I'm using multiple accounts. I think that's what these are. These are on a $10,000 and a $25,000 account. As I moved further into March and April, I had a $200,000 account as well. So realistically, it's the same trade, just taken with a different sizing for the proper or for the specific account that I was using. So I don't trade that much. And so I don't get a lot of data super fast. So I look at more of the big picture. I look at months, I look at quarters, I look at years, and I'm building up, and I'm learning from those numbers versus learning from one day or learning from 1 week where I take a ton of trades. Right off the bat, I will tell you, though, that these numbers are pretty cool. Profit factor, meaning that that's showing you above 1 is profitable, your win rate, and your average win loss. Now, these are important numbers because if you have a higher than 50% win rate and an average loss around 1, that means you're probably making money. If you have a lower win rate, that means you're going to need to have a higher average win-loss per trade. That ratio between the average winner versus the average loser, you need that to be higher for you to be profitable. So it's kind of a game of figuring out the right balance for you and then going through the trades, learning from your losses, learning from your winners, and figuring out how you can optimize going forward to create that perfect balance where you're profitable and you can sustain that consistently. People always have questions about the add trades. So if I go over here to where it says add trades, you will see a list of my trading accounts. So what I've done here is I essentially click on the add new account and I go and select the broker. So for example, there's a bunch of different brokers you have access to here. You can scroll through this list and they've added recently a ton with MetaTrader 5, a ton with DXTrade, a ton of different brokers here that fit a lot of prop firms. For example, recently I've been using TradeLocker for different prop firms. I also have a Webull account. I have other accounts with Thinkorswim. I've used, and I have quite a number of accounts that I've logged in here. If you can't find your broker on here, which if you can't find your broker, you're probably using, I don't want to say an obscure broker, but a much less popular broker. Reach out to TradeZella, and if they get enough people reaching out, they will add it. I did that once, and within literally a week, they added the broker, they added everything, and I was good, and I had all my trades automatically synced. The reason why this page is important is because if your broker is shown here, all you're going to have to do, for example, if you have, let's say, a TradeEvade account, log into your TradeEvade account through TradeZella. I think you'll have to check a box or two to confirm you want to share data. And then you're literally, every trade you take is now able to be synced automatically. TradeZella every couple of hours will just scan your broker. And if you have new executions, it'll import it in. And because they already connected these brokers, there really isn't any issues. Like everything is synced properly. They're not going to add something and then there'll be errors where like this, your numbers are off, your timing is off. And if there is, reach out. They're very, very quick to fix that. So if you don't have that, you'll have to use a generic template, as they say, or manually add your trades, which I will be honest, is not necessarily super appealing because you could technically do that on your own. So if your broker is not available on TradeZella, you probably could just save the money and do it yourself on Excel. However, if it is available, this is going to save you a ton of time, a ton of headaches, and you're not going to have to do anything. Like it'll just like all these trades. I don't do like these numbers. I didn't make them. Just they're automatically put in. That's it. I did nothing. So now there's a bunch of different ways you can kind of see this or look deeper into finding more information about these trades. So let's go to a day where I only had one trade here, where I lost $288 because it's simple. You'll see that I had a position on the US 30. It was a short trade. It shows you the instrument and the net P&L, the ROI, the R multiple, etc. And then there's a playbook. If I have it tagged to a playbook, it'll pop up or it'll show up there. And then from here, I can either add notes right on this page, and it will add notes immediately on this page. I can even voice record into this, and it will automatically add the text, save it, and then jump down and click on the actual trade itself. And then inside of here, I can go and I can add more notes and more text, and I can look at all the details of this specific trade. So what you'll see on the left-hand side is you get so much more information. So you have commissions, you have the amount of the position size, the adjusted cost, the P&L, all of that. You can even rate your trade. Was it a 3-star, 2-star, 5-star? I don't personally do that, but if you want to do that, you can. To me, this is kind of very subjective, and it could depend upon how my brain is working on that given day. So it doesn't help me a ton to do that, but it could be useful to you. We have my profit target and my stop loss, that if you take the trade on your brokerage account and you enter a profit target and a stop loss when you take the trade, that is going to be automatically filled in here, which will then show you the planned R multiple and the realized R multiple once the trade is then closed, which is super cool. So you can see that I was looking to make 419 while risking 285 on the trade. Now I end up losing 288, pretty much what I was planning to risk. Tells you your entry time and the exit time. And then underneath that, you have setups, mistakes, and custom tags. I want to get into this next because this is really, really cool. I always use this. So for example, I keep it very simple. I play breakdowns and breakouts. That's it. I call it bear flags. I call it bull flags. It's not that simple, or it might not be the same exact way you think of a bear flag and a bull flag, but that's how my brain works. So I know what it looks like to me, and that works for me when I tag these things. But in the past, I had tons of different setups. So I had tagged different setups that I had coined or that I created myself, and they weren't very specific. They were not building out playbooks, which is now a new feature that I think the past year or two came out with TradeZella, which is available. So this is back from years ago, and they still are in there. I can delete them if I want, but I don't need to delete them, so I leave them in there. I can add mistakes, which I can custom make. And if you don't see an option in there, or you haven't created a mistake or a custom tag, all you're going to have to do, for example, in the box that you want to select, is start typing. So for example, I start typing in test, and then I can create a test custom tag. Whatever that means to me, I can create it just like that, and then click on the plus, create. I'm going to click on the X. I don't want that in there anymore, and I'm good to go. The reason why I use it is because, for example, I create the custom tags to go off of the time frame that I traded on. So I've got a setup, and then I go custom tags, time frame. So where was this trade taken on? 1 hour time frame, 1 day time frame, 5 minute time frame. And then I could track all of my custom tags later in the detailed reports, which I'll show you guys next. But really quick before that, I want to pull up the chart. It'll show you the entry we have right here. And if you keep zooming out, it'll show you the exit. And so you can see the exact entry and exit and look back on the chart. It's just a trading view chart that's been pulled in. I can jump into here, go to, let's say, the 1 hour time frame, which was what I was using. And you can see that we entered and we got stopped out shortly after. Cool. You can also see the running P&L. So I was initially up on this trade at one point, about $159, and then it went against me and then eventually hit my stop loss. So this is another way you can utilize this to see if there are any things that maybe you're up on trades and you're not taking profits, etc. cool tool, cool feature to use. But I think what's an even more important feature is the reports section. So if I go to the reports section, it'll now show me the time frame that I have selected. I can also toggle between different accounts. So I currently have all my accounts selected, so we're good. We can see all my accounts. And now I get all of the detailed reports. So you can see the average hold time on winning trades, the average hold times on losing trades and scratch trades if I have any break-even trades, all of the details, the dirty details inside of here, which is really, really cool. Where things get more fun is as you dive deeper into the reports, up in the top, you can go into different days and time, different R multiples, position sizes, wins versus losses, different setups, mistakes, and custom tags. So as I've created custom tags, it's now tracking all of them. And so when I tag a trade with a custom tag, for example, you can see that we've got a couple of trades tagged on this past month or on this month with custom tags. And you can see how much money you made or lost trading that different custom tag or that time frame in my case, or if you want to custom tag these and call them whatever you want, whether it was a mistake or whether it was this or that, you can totally do that. So it also tracks mistakes. So if I made any mistakes or if I tag any trades with mistakes, you can see how much I lost, how much I could have potentially avoided hurting my P&L by doing so. This is awesome. Awesome, 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 because I could now see over time what I do is I custom tag things if I want to track a specific thing. And there are periods of time where I was tracking different things. I could then go back month by month, week by week, year by year and say, okay, it's very clear to me. I've got tons of trades on the 4-hour time frame or doing this or doing that. I'm not making money on that time frame. Let's do less of it. So for me last year, I had noticed that my 5-minute time frame was about break even, and I was profitable on all the other time frames except the 5-minute. And I said to myself, that means that going into this next year, I'm going to trade the 5-minute time frame less because it's kind of not worth my time. And then I adjust and make adjustments from there. You can even compare things. You can compare group 1 versus group 2. So for example, if I want to compare my trades on Apple, or if I want to compare my trades on the 1-day chart versus my trades on the 1-hour chart, I can do that and I can generate a report and it'll show me my win rate on that time frame versus this time frame over this specific period of time. It is awesome. It is awesome. I love it. You can even see this is going back now even further on this because I didn't set a start date and end date. So you can see that my trades on the 1-day time frame, we have a 52% win rate, 47 winners, 43 losers dating back to 2023. And you can see that we are up. I recently dramatically increased my sizing. So, okay, I was up like $4,000 or $5,000, but recently my sizing has been substantially higher. So then we lost a good chunk, a couple thousand on one trade, made a couple thousand on one trade. So it's a little bit more jumpy as of now with the recent increase in size. But prior to that, with a pretty consistent size, you saw we had some good numbers. And then if you go over here to the 1-hour time frame, not as consistent. Makes it super easy to compare and contrast and see everything you need to see. I want to scroll down to the playbook section next. This is actually pretty important, or could be pretty important. So go in here. If you want to pretty much outline a trading strategy, here's where you do it. I never have, and I probably should. But to me, I've already kind of oiled my strategy down that I never went and took the time to do this, but it's available to me. So I'm paying for it. I should. You can describe your playbook and then describe exactly what you do. And it will walk you through the steps where you can outline exactly what your strategy is, what it isn't. And then you can always refer back to this and then tag all the trades that you take with a specific playbook. And it makes it easy to track and to follow it. I would recommend you do so. There's also a trade replay feature, which if you are on the first level account, not the premium, you don't have a trade replay feature, which I should mention that. But for example, I can go back to this recent trade right here and I can replay the executions. I can go back in time and I can see this trade playing out. So you guys can watch as I play this thing out over time. You can see that I get filled. It gets filled here and then it comes back up. And I think I got stopped out close to break even on this trade. I only made $400 on a larger size. I was looking to make a couple of thousand on the trade. So I end up stopping out near break even, so I made $400. But you can see I can go back and I can watch the time in sales. I can watch level 2, and I can see exactly when I entered, when I exited, and I've got all my trading information, the duration, all the good information on the left-hand side. So I can go back and see this, and I can increase the speed, and I can go back, and it's super, super cool. This is awesome. One of my favorite features of TradeZella. One more thing that I do want to mention is over here on the backtesting section. This is sick. I haven't used this, but this is sick. If you are not sure about a strategy or you're not sure how you want to operate things, you can essentially paper trade, but you can backtest. And when you go into a backtesting session, what'll end up happening, I think I can pull it up right here. Essentially what happens is you can go back and trade live on past timeframes whenever you want. So it's like using TradingView's trade replay feature, but then TradeZella's made some customizations to that. So you can kind of easily edit positions, get in positions, get out of positions, increase the speed, play different timeframes, and then select, a month or a year that you want to backtest. And then you can take like a whole weekend or two and just go into like a cave and just backtest, tons and tons of trades as if you were trading live. And then all of that, by the way, when you go back to TradeZella, all of that, see how I'm under the backtesting tab right here? All of that, I go to my dashboard, all of that gets loaded into your dashboard. So it's like I can go trade the month of like March 2022 on my strategy. Go trade that for like a month if I just day trade a lot. And then all the data will pop up here and I can do exactly what I was doing before with my back tested trades that are just paper trades, not even real trades. But I get all that data on TradeZella at my disposal. And then I can do exactly what I am doing right now with my live trades. But I can do that with past trades. So I can get to a point where I'm like, wow, I have something here, or wow, I don't. I need to make adjustments before I start trading live. Super cool. If you're trading a new strategy, I would highly recommend it. Put the time in. It will definitely help you. I will say the only really big cons of this platform is potentially the price, and then if your broker is not available. But there really aren't many issues I have had. I have not had an issue with that. And I think the vast majority of major brokers are there, and they keep growing the list. So that's not a huge problem. If you're looking to sign up, again, I'll leave that discount code below. TC10 will save you 10% at checkout. If it's something that you think is useful, awesome, save some money. If you are looking for more detailed into this and how to track your trades, how it could be useful to you, I'll also leave a link below to a literally free training. I think it was an hour-long training that I went over. TradeZella, how to track your trades, why it's useful, how to do this, examples from myself. And I think that will be very beneficial if you're looking for more information on tracking, journaling your trades in more of an in-depth manner. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.